Welcome to the Whatnot Podcast. I am MikeZ.
I guess I'm still Chris.
Well, that's good to know. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about just everything we've got coming up in the near future, as well as just ramblings and other things that we have going on, such as Chris with his dust collector and all the fittings and maybe the new platform you have built.
Yeah, so I guess we're talking about stuff and whatnot.
Stuff and whatnot, just for tonight, because normally we talk throughout the week, and then this week we've been so busy that we didn't have a chance to pre-chat. And I figured, you know what? Let's just talk like we normally do and just let everyone else in on the action.
Yeah, poor people.
Oh, no. Scott Houston's here. We got to go. All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
And he's flexing on us, so we're in trouble.
Oh, no. Houston Construction. If you need anything in North Carolina, Houston Construction would be the place to go. Yeah.
I keep waiting on a website, phone number, and not sponsored.
Not yet on that one. But no, just playing around with the old voice, because today I got the new job, thanks to Chris, of doing all of the retail stores voicemail, out of office, and holiday or after hours voicemail. I don't know, what do you call them? Recordings? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
Well, when you talk like a redneck, you don't get jobs like that. But when you have a radio voice like a god, you get it.
I don't know if it's all them apples and a bag of chips, but I'll take the bag of chips. As you can tell, I'm quite fat.
That's just pudgy.
Just a little pudge. What is it? Oh, John Reap. By the way, I just have to say, if you haven't watched any comedy by John Reap, he is 100% Hickory, North Carolina, as he would say. It's Hickory. You may know him as does that have a Hemi guy from the old Dodge commercials back in the day, but he has since the lockdown moved back to North Carolina, and he wreaks havoc on his dad, and it's just quality entertainment all around. So if you haven't seen John Reap, go check him out. A lot of fun. And of course, what was he doing here recently? He was at the local Cracker Barrel having a dinner for her mom on Mother's Day, or a breakfast, I guess you'd say, dressed up literally like an Elvis pimp in all blue. It was great. Yeah.
Wasn't he on Last Comic Stand or something like that?
I don't know. I just know
one
him
of
from
those. Yeah.
Probably so, though. I mean, he's been doing comedy forever, but hilarious dude all around. So, what you got going on this week? Tell me all about it.
Well, I had some pre-finished plywood, so I got it all cut up and bought some 2x4s. So I had to take out a second mortgage and can't even say it like an echo. It's throwing me off. But no, I'll swing you around and show you what I got. Maybe.
Technologically advanced Chris for once.
Well.
All right. Look at that.
Yeah, got a little platform and the cones sit on top of it. It'll raise that up so it gets above the air conditioner. Otherwise, the hoses are right in front of it.
Not to mention that sign that's right in front of it. How do you stay cool with that on?
Well, that's just in the that's on the back end that filters it. That's not in the way of the.
Not in the way of the fan, but it's in the way of the fan drawing the air into it. That
it looks like it is, but it's about 2 feet from it.
Don't
judge me.
I'll judge. Well, while you're turning the camera, we'll do it one more time because you showed me the dust fittings, and I have to say I'm quite impressed with the amount of dust fittings that you have going on.
Oh, okay.
You can do
You know
this.
what? Instead of doing it with that whole swing arm,
Oh, that's too close. All right, there we go. Look at them apples. This
there's
man,
some 8-inch ones on the left, 6 inches everywhere else.
that's what she said.
No, but 45s, T's or Y's, all kinds of stuff.
Cool, man. So it's a work in progress. Now that you have the platform ready, is there going to be a drawer or is that just going to be a shelf?
That will wind up being a drawer. I was going to make it a cabinet with a door, but I thought, you know what? A 24-inch drawer right there would be perfect for holding all the fittings and, all the different clamps and accessories and stuff.
Is that
So,
a gallon of glue right there on the floor? I'm sorry, I just happened to see
yeah,
the green lid.
that is a jug of sand.
Oh yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah, this is more my mechanical side of thing right here. A little drawer. Everything else in the shop's woodworking, except for the freezer way over there.
Good
Right now,
evening,
it's all
gentlemen. Thank you
dark.
for joining us.
Yeah, after tonight, they won't come back.
No, not for tonight. We have no idea what we're doing. So if you haven't seen it on Instagram, we did politely ask Stumpy Nubs, the James Hamilton, to join us at one of these. We'll see if we get enough people riled up to say, hey, come on over. Why don't you talk for a little bit? See how it
And
goes.
then be like, Stumpy, what were you thinking?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's later. Don't ruin it. But so on my Instagram tonight, I had those the finials that I was scraping all of the paint off, and this bed, it's a bunk bed. I've had it for a month now, maybe a month and a half, which is the longest I've ever had any furniture for refinishing. Usually, it's turned around very quickly. But in order to keep the cost low, I said, well, if you leave it for longer, I can work on it here and there, and it won't cost as much instead of just focusing all my time on it. Well, that was the last part of it. So tomorrow there should be pictures because it's not raining like it was today. But it was a 1950s maple with a little bit of plywood, but most of it was all solid maple. Someone painted it gray, then they painted it white, and I had to strip all that off and resand it and stain it. And so it was one of those things where I don't want to do that again, not for a while. I forgot those were my younger days.
Yeah, I was looking at you scrape that off with a side of a chisel, and I was like,
Well, I didn't have a scraper small enough. I mean, the card scrapers I have are pretty big, and the chisel, is only 1/2 inch. So I was like, oh, this will be perfect. And of course, if you sharpen it properly, the bottom should be flat. And it almost makes like a beveled edge on it. It's perfect for scraping.
it reminds me of Nick's wife. When I was working with Nick, none of y'all know him, but Mike knows him. We came home and his wife had been scraping the front concrete porch and had decided that his chisels could be used for that.
That poor man. That poor man.
I think he wound up getting a new set of chisels out of it, but the story's still funny nonetheless.
That is still funny nonetheless. I actually have a set of chisels that are everyone knows where they're at, and then I have a set of those. They're Robert Sorby with rosewood handles. Those are the ones that I keep off to the side in a box. They're actually in a Jorgensen clamp box, so no one ever has any idea that they're there. And they've been sharpened
Until
like,
now.
yeah, until now. Oh, there we go. But no, I actually have them in that box, and they have little protective covers on them and everything. Just because I had someone at the store at one time, his name was Ken. He showed me how to sharpen those chisels, and they're still sharp to this day. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to ruin those. I think everyone should have like a contractor set of chisels and then a really nice set of chisels. It does make a
Have
difference.
screwdrivers that way.
You sharpen screwdrivers?
No, a cheap set of screwdrivers and a good set of screwdrivers.
There's
You never know when a screwdriver has to become a chisel or an ice pick.
Truth.
But
good times. So,
yeah,
what do you know that we have coming up in? Let's see, when is it? I guess July is going to be our big month.
Yeah, we have a lot going on at work. I'm doing the AAW, the virtual AAW, and literally a couple days later, we're working on the CTE conference.
Yep. So one of the things I enjoy and I pulled Chris into, and now he's starting to see after we've had those meetings with the teachers, the CTE program for North Carolina is doing it all virtual this year. And because of that, we actually have the ability to present more than just what I normally do for them. So it's a lot of fun to bring Chris in on it because he's not that you're overwhelmed, but I think you're overthinking it at times because some of these teachers have backgrounds in industrial arts, industrial CNC. They have construction. Like typically, the CTE teachers are people who have been doing the crafts that we've been doing, the craft itself, as far as anything woodworking related, and then decide to start teaching it. So it's kind of fun to be able to talk with them because they're in the trenches with trying to show the next generation, what to do and how to prepare for everything in life. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I overthink and over prepare everything but this.
Yeah. Podcast is one of those things where it's like, let's just get in here. 15 minutes till.
Yeah,
But
this works out though.
so AAW, American Association of Woodturners, they're doing a virtual symposium this year. For good Lord, when was the first time you went? 2008?
Oh no, 2003, something like that.
Yeah. So you've been doing them a while. I'm trying to think because they're usually every 2 years. There's one in North Carolina, then there's one in usually Portland or somewhere on the West Coast. So they
They've
bounce
been
back
all
and
over.
forth.
They
Oh,
used to
sorry,
do them
Kansas
like in
City.
Kentucky and St. Louis. I mean, they've been all over around.
So here recently, well, since I've been doing them, 2012, I think they're just doing West Coast, East Coast, back and forth. So this year was the one that would be um, virtual, like 100% virtual. I know that let's see here, 28, no, I guess 2019 or 2018. I'm sorry, 2018 or 2019, whichever one that one was. What they decided to do was have partial virtual for people who couldn't make it from the Midwest. So that kind of got the whole thing started, which was really nice. So they're already up on their par. Evening, Keela. Keela. That'll work. Keela.
I had to read that twice. At first, I thought it said, "What's up, what knockers?" I went,
I did the same thing. What up, whatnotters? Made it on time this week. I'm so glad you did. You didn't miss much. Sorry.
"Yeah." Well, no, you missed the best part.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, you got to go ahead and rewind it real quick.
But I mean, I enjoyed working shows. You know, that was always one of the things I did enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm. No, there are a lot of preparing because okay, so if you've ever been to a woodworking show, a symposium for turning, anything along those lines, one of the things you get yourself ready as a participant. I think there's what people who attendees would be called. And basically, you get your ticket, you come in the door, you see everything that's got to go on. But I can tell you that about 2 weeks prior to that show, there's a lot of stock being pulled, a lot of inventory being checked, a lot of things being packed away, trucks being driven, which I did a video for that for the last AAW we did in Raleigh. And it was a lot of fun because we get to drive the semi truck underground. I'd never done that before. I think you have to have a license for it, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, so
There's
yeah,
no proof.
there's no proof. But it's really cool on the backside of things when you do that because you get to meet a lot of people. There's a lot of the celebrities, the influencers who came in from other companies, and they're just kind of they're there. They don't know where to go quite yet because their stuff hasn't been unloaded. So you get to meet these people while you're pulling a pallet jack full of goods.
Yeah, I met quite a few people at some of those shows. I used to do the international shows where one year it's in Atlanta and the next year it's out in Vegas. Those were quite interesting.
What was the interesting part? Would that be the after hours or during the show?
Well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but yeah.
It's a good thing we're talking about Raleigh. So
Oh, yeah, that too.
But what's really cool is that you got semi trailers, like your big names, Powermatic Jet, Harvey, and they would just have machine after machine after machine being forklifted off. And what's really kind of crazy about all this in the background is that if you are someone like us and we're just trying to, take our racks, our metal racks, we're trying to take our inventory on pallet jacks, and you have these forklifts that are flying by you with, I don't know what, 1,500-pound lathes, and the floor shaking. It's craziness. It really is in the backside of everything. So doing those shows really shows you all the amount of coordination and effort that goes behind it. So therefore, whenever we do ours in the fall, the extravaganza, there's more to it. And I really hope one year, maybe this year, we get to show the behind the scenes of everything going on, what it takes to set it all up. Because there's a lot going on. I mean, we prepare a week in advance, that Tuesday before.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of
we
preparation.
prepared long before that, but we actually start moving in
Tuesday.
usually that Tuesday.
And then, of course, we want to get out of there by 8 o'clock on Saturday. So, what takes Tuesday up until Friday morning, we want to be done from Saturday at 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock. That right there is a mad dash.
Well, I got to experience the very first one of those. And let
Oh,
me assure you, it was not 8 p.m.
how long did that take?
Well, that year they had 4 tractor trailers of just Delta machinery. And that was back when Delta was a big name and prominent. And it was a long time. We had to be out by midnight, and it was 11:58 when we shut that door.
Wow.
And the guy walked us out.
And the guy walked. He's like, "Come on, let's go. Come on. You
Yeah.
can't go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here."
And I was working in the store that year, and they were like, "Oh no, the store is going to be slow. Everybody's going to be at the show." About 10 till 10 o'clock, I was just dead. And in about 10:01, it was over. I had lines all the way down the aisle. A couple of the ladies came over to get a few extra things to take back to the show, and she was like, "Oh my god!" So it was 2 of us at that point. The rest of the day.
Oh no, yeah. I'm glad we did all hands on deck when I came into play, which was what, 10, 11 years later, 10 years later from when you did it. Tell you what, we had to make areas for lines that go down the aisles because so everyone in the morning would go to the show, and then they would stop there because they saw everything they wanted to see. Then they come over to the store, which was only like what, a mile and a half.
Yeah.
It wasn't far. And then so you had about 10 o'clock is when everything just rolled in. And then next thing you know, it's 12:30, dead again, because everyone goes back to the show. And then same thing again, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, it hits again. So it's very much a wave of customers and people in general, and just it's just constant going on all weekend. And then of course, what became 2016, 17, we started doing after shows with the makers groups and people who were coming out. We started taking them to dinner and stuff like that. Started getting the vendors involved with just not only the show, but at least hanging out, and for some of the people who wanted to be there. So that it got crazy. It really did. When Saturday night rolled around, it was like done. Sunday, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, you're pretty much spent at that point,
Yeah.
picking up
Yeah.
and cleaning up and tearing down. And
You'd be glad if you can make it home just on regular sleep alone.
yeah, you don't schedule much for that Sunday.
No, hopefully you don't. But so
Yeah.
that's the background of, what we get to do when we got to go to shows. So now that everything's virtual, things have changed a little bit. We don't have to set up and do all of that, travel to other cities, stay in hotels. Now we actually get to set up, do all that kind of stuff. But now we get to film people who want to do their craft, which I think is a lot more fun in some ways, because yes, you have that busyness, you have that constant flow of people in and out all day. I mean, the day goes by quick, don't get me wrong, But now we actually have the ability to showcase some of our local artists who may not been invited to the symposiums or may not have been welcomed into them for whatever reason. Not saying there's anything political here, but at the same time, they fill up their schedule so quickly with so many talents across the country. Not everyone can show up. So now is a really virtually it's nice because we get to showcase some of those who didn't make it.
Yeah, I got to chat with one Monday, Jerry Meesemer.
And I was
Matter of fact,
fortunate
I
enough
had
to
him
see
sign my
it.
head.
I was gonna say I saw a picture of somebody signing your head, and you said Jerry
Hmm.
stopped by.
Hmm.
I see it wasn't permanent marker.
No, I was smart. I handed him the dry erase. And last year, I got to hang out with Dreadnought.
Yeah, Daryl's
He and I
awesome.
went for dinner one of those nights. Had a good night. Just to enjoy it and got to talk and
I think it
chit
was
chat a little bit.
he came in Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, for that to film and everything.
Hmm.
We did a live presentation with him during the virtual extravaganza. So this year we definitely hope to make it bigger. I've got to reach out to him, as a matter of fact, and see if he's still going to be able to come up this year. Because so what's really cool too about all this is that you get to meet these influencers, these turners, these hobbyists. At that time when he first came out to our extravaganza, and we're talking about Daryl from Dreadnought Workshop, he was on a podcast. He was just kind of turning, doing things, making crafts. And now, if I'm not mistaken, he's moved himself on up to where he's part of the Robert Sorby crew.
Yep.
So, and that's just awesome to see because he was always a Robert Sorby guy. He really enjoyed the traditional tools, and he made a lot of use out of like texturing tools, the beading tools, a lot of the things that Robert Sorby makes for certain types of turnings. So it was really cool to see him move into that position. That's not just offered to somebody who has sales experience. It's someone who uses the tools, someone who is directly involved with what the tools can do. So for me, I was just like, that is super cool.
Yeah, and I mean, just last year we got to meet some really amazing people. We got to meet him and hang out with Jerry. Gosh, we got to meet Kyle,
Yeah.
hang out with Kyle.
Kyle needs to come
Uh,
down. He needs to make a road trip.
and Izzy. Yeah, we hung out with Izzy
Oh,
for a session.
I feel like I always name drop when we talk about Izzy because we've been fortunate enough to actually like go to his house and hang out.
I spent the night with him.
I spent the night in the guest room. I didn't.
That didn't come out right.
I was gonna say he told me I wasn't allowed to spend the night with him. I see how it is.
Yeah.
But no, he's an absolute trip. He's probably one of the most just bring you in. You're part of the family. Eat dinner with them. Like you're another person, but at the same time, he just welcomes you right into the house. Izzy's top notch.
Yeah.
And he's got his
I
new
mean,
X clamp system, which apparently long overdue. Because as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, geez, that makes complete sense.
well, it took him to make it work.
Well, yeah, yeah. Because whenever he first started that with, I've really only used 4 clamps. I looked at my wall and I'm like, I only use 4 clamps. What do you got for me? There you go, Kyle. Bring it on, road trip, buddy. It'd be a lot of
It would
fun.
take you for some Southern barbecue.
Take you for some real barbecue. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you don't know, I mean, yes, there's all kinds of barbecue out there, but in North Carolina, we have 3 different main types of barbecue. So you can go on a
And they're
trip,
all good.
and they're all good, but you can go on a trip just in one state alone. We can find you a place. So yeah, lots of good barbecue. Oh, now
We've been talking about shows and people we met. I mean, I've met some pretty cool people at some of these shows. Hey, there you go.
he's sold, he says, on that barbecue.
I've had a chance to meet quite a few higher up people.
Throw some names. Well, okay, you talking about like influencers and people who do demonstrations, or are you talking about like business people?
Influencers and like well known people. I'm trying to remember her name years ago. She did a lot of work with Fine, and she was a contractor that had a television show.
Is that the Catherine McGabe?
No, it doesn't sound right.
Maybe she was Craig.
It was like mid think 2007, maybe 2005, something like that. But got to meet her at the Las Vegas show. I got to meet April Wilkerson and Ethan. I can't remember his channel name. Ethan Makes or something like that.
Ethan Answers from Stockroom?
It's gonna no.
Oh.
It's gonna drive me nuts because anyway.
Well, see, he left an impression on you. By the way, Stockroom Supply.
Got a lot of good stuff. Good channel.
Name
It's my
sounds
brain that's
familiar now that you say that. That'll come to us as soon as the show ends, which is great. Let's see. Just for the last virtual extravaganza, we had Michelle Parsons, we had Jerry Mesemer, we had Scott Caskey, we had Daryl, we had Izzy, we had Sterling Davis, who showed up, and he wasn't necessarily always on camera, but he definitely showed up, and we appreciate.
We liked him. Shout out to Sterling Davis. Free sponsorship.
Come back this year. No, Sterling's great. He does a lot of scroll saw work. He started making more funny videos, especially with TikTok, and they're top notch. But Sterling's he's a fantastic human being. It's the best way I can describe him. Let's see here. Who else? Let's see. So Symposium wise, obviously, because I wanted to troll him and have some fun with him and see if he would be willing to jump on the show, would be James Hamilton, known as Stumpy Nubs. Chris and I, whenever he releases a video, that's one of those people that we go to is, hey man, did you check this out yet? Did you see what he was saying? So hopefully he'll be on. But met him with Trend and Trend USA. I don't know. I can't say anything better about Jamie, who is the vice president for Trend, other than he is a class act. He is 100% a genuine human being. Him and his wife both are just, they bring you in, they feed you pizza. What can I say? So I'm definitely fortunate. What's that? Keith Lackner. He was there one year. Cindy Droza was there one year. Met her. What about the lady who does the spiders? Rebecca DeGroot.
Oh yeah.
Can't forget Rebecca DeGroot. She's actually going to be one of the presenters this year, which will be nice for the AAW. So if you're a wood turner and you haven't checked out the AAW, you might want to lift the rock you've been living under. Just saying out loud, because that is the American Association of Wood Turners. Typically, they're the ones that help all wood clubs out there, actually wood turning clubs. They're one of the ones that are there to put you in the spotlight. Who else have you met?
Well, we talked about Jerry.
Yeah, okay. So we did release a video, and I'll talk about this on here because I do find it funny. Jerry Mesemer, he is dangerous, is the best way I can describe him. He is a hazard waiting to happen because he is so into turning and paying attention to turning that I can see why now he's broken every bone in his body for the most part. But
I've been struck by lightning how many times?
I think it's 3 now. That story alone was one of the best ones I'd heard, when his wife, heard the lightning and the thunder, or saw the lightning, heard the thunder. It was immediate because it was right there side by side. And her first thing was like, oh boy. Her first thought was like, oh no. And then the neighbor comes over and says, Jerry's been struck by lightning. It's like, but he lives to tell the tale every day. It's so crazy. But
he's got 9 lives. I think he's on number 8.
Oh no, he's got more than 9 lives. He's got like 9 cats living in him. He's got 81 years. But so the video we did with him was the hummingbirds, and easily one of the longest things I've ever recorded. There's so much information packed into that. But he is a hoot. Oh my gosh, he's great. That's all.
I was impressed with his hydraulic drill.
And see, I didn't feature that. Oh, that thing is awesome. I didn't feature that in the video just because I wanted to do that as a side video of all of the crazy gadgets he has, because I think that took an hour just to show off how cool that was, all the engineering that went into it, the early models. Like when you have to drill a Forstner bit into a piece of wood on, ingrain into a lathe, he has figured out how to do it extremely quickly with little, air compressor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just hits the switch and done. So I wanted to feature that in its own video. It's that good. But
He burns through some Forstners, that's for sure.
and that's how. Okay. Oh, can't forget Morris Schlesinger. If you haven't figured out Morris Schlesinger or seen Morris Schlesinger, he usually works with Trend. But the first year I worked at the store, he was a guest at the North Carolina Woodturners group that meets there at the Hickory store of Klingspor. And he was showing off this really dull Forstner bit, and he's walking around. It's rusty. It had Grizzly on the name, like it was old. And he's showing everyone. He's trying to turn with it, making these candlesticks, and just dust is coming out. Like it's not sharp at all. He literally, in 15 seconds, sharpened a Forstner bit to where I could grab a hold of the shavings. He was like, "Hey, why don't you come over here for a minute?" I got a hold of the shaving and I started walking away with it. And it was all one complete shaving. That's how fast he sharpened that Forstner bit. From then on, I was sold. I was like, I will sharpen my Forstner bits. I will not throw them away.
I'll let him sharpen them.
Well, that's not hard. But by the way, Freud, sorry, not sponsored. What do we have? We have a comment. Miriam Johnson, home time. That's it. Home time. Because her and the guy from Home Time were with Fine. They were in the video.
That Miriam doesn't sound right. Or does Karen?
I know Home Time was definitely the show that was on at the time, PBS.
This was she worked with another contractor. It wasn't just her.
Oh, okay. That's Home Time.
That's gonna drive me nuts.
Go look up Home Time. Go Google it.
Well,
Go
my
screen
phone's a
share.
little occupied.
Home Time. I'll Google it for you while we're in the middle of it.
Well, I was gonna say I can do it right here.
Nah, this is much more fun. Let's see if I can bring this picture up. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see if we can. Hey, you know what? Why not? Share a screen. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. And here you go. Is that her?
No.
Okay, never mind. That's not Home Time. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, as we Google something that we thought we might know. You'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
I have confidence.
Oh yeah.
So, the one thing we did actually get to talk about a little bit today was the CTE conference, and so sometimes they have big names that show up and are a guest speaker for all these teachers. Other times, it's just people in the industry. Usually for them, it's all Skills USA related, because that's their big competition at the end of the year, is that they get to take their students, they get to make something, they get to qualify, and then they get to get into the nationals. So they do regionals at state, regionals like Southeast, and then they get to move to nationals, which is usually St. Louis, Kansas City, somewhere in the middle. So a lot of that's kind of going to be in play with, how to register and all that stuff for the conference. But, we're just in there as in like, hey, Abrasives 101, you're doing it wrong. How to do it right. Like we had some fun with the titles. And Chris will be doing nothing but CNC to kind of help give the teachers a little bit of confidence in CNC itself, as far as where it can be used. I mean, it's not just something that makes signs. It can be used for a lot of things.
Replace a lot of tools.
It can replace some tools. So then that'll come to our next, that'll be our next show, will be CNC. Is it real woodworking?
Yes.
Well, way to elaborate on that. Thanks for joining us, everybody. That was great.
It is what it is. Of course it is. If you say it's not, you're wrong.
So you're telling me that if a machine cuts wood, it's part of woodworking?
Yeah, I mean, just no different than you using a hand plane.
Or
it may not be traditional woodworking. It's woodworking.
Can you imagine people back in, like, what was it, let's say the turn of the century, I think it's 1915 to 1925. Brain's getting old. But think of all the people that all of a sudden were introduced to powered routers. And that must have been witchcraft at that time. That must have been something so crazy that they're like, that's not real woodworking. Same
I mean,
thing.
it's just like those people cutting down trees with a chainsaw versus one
Oh
of
my,
those old hand saws.
that poor Paul Bunyan. I tell you what, and Babe the Blue Ox, that's a story that'll go down in history.
Yeah, well,
But think about it. It's the exact same thing. CNC is nothing more than just the new realm of doing things, steam powered versus electricity. Okay. Versus hand powered. So I look at it as the same way. CNC would be that direction. And we'll talk about it all next time on episode 6. CNC is it real
oh,
woodworking?
let's see how you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Beep beep.
Digital woodworking fabrication, just another tool that happens to be very versatile. Thank you, Kyle. Kila. It's gonna be his rapper name from now on. Kila.
Yeah, it's changed my shop for sure.
I noticed that has changed the way that you have approached some of your future projects. Like you take a look at a project, traditionally you can do it this way, but I've noticed that you're like, but I could do it on the CNC.
It's kind of like the micro jig. It's transformed the way I think about how to carry out a project.
There you go.
You know, can I use the micro jig match fit system in this, and will it work better? If so, then I'm going to go that route.
And I mean, once you make a file, you can duplicate that over and over again.
Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of money on that employee. Got to put
There,
him to work sometime.
there you go. Also, it's a him now. The Axiom Elite
Well, I
guy.
mean, Axiom Elite doesn't sound like a woman, so
Yeah, that's the wrong business. But yes, you're absolutely right. It's
for
always fun.
another show.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's always fun when you can stump Chris and he doesn't have anything to come back with. Yeah, that's always fun. That's
Well,
my.
we're live. I have to filter that a little bit.
Of course, it is Big Red Truck. John, what do you mean by that? Let's get him in here. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm lost.
I am lost too. The Big Red Truck. We'll figure it out one day. Oh, hey, I can go ahead and remove this. Hold on. There we go. Almost had to keep the screen going. So, let me catch back up with myself here. So CTE, the reason I like it, obviously, shop teachers. That's what taught me a lot of stuff too in school: drafting, automotive, Intel classes, welding, metal fabrication in general. That's not dealt with welding. So to me, they were extremely important. So therefore, helping them to get through and navigate the red tape that they have to is always a plus.
Yeah, and there's a lot of interest. I think I did a total today. There's like 6 Axiom machines sold in the last 2 weeks.
That are going to schools.
Most of them going to schools.
Wow, that's awesome.
Maryland, a couple in North Carolina, I think one in Tennessee.
So that's something they have in stock is Axiom CNCs.
Yeah, I had to confirm that.
Yeah. So if you don't know, if you think lumber presses are bad, finding machinery is even worse because a lot of manufacturers don't have machines right now.
Yeah, machines are a lot like gas here in the Southeast. It's pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit on the hard to find side. But I will say that I'm very fortunate that our local grocery store, we're out in the middle of nowhere. So there's one grocery store here. Whenever they shut down, because they shut down for emergency vehicles, that tells me that there's a problem. Like, okay. And they usually shut down 2 or 3 days before everyone else hears about it. They get first, know about it because there really isn't any gas stations around other than that for a good maybe 10 miles. So therefore they shut down to get all the emergency vehicles, the fuel they need if there's an emergency, obviously. So when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's not good. Better get some gas.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
What is your take on that? Just in general, as far as the pipeline getting shut down due to ransomware. What are your thoughts? And it's not a loaded question. I'm going to try and put you on the spot. Have you thought about it?
Oh, I've thought about it and I've read a lot. It may not be the platform to open that Pandora's box.
I look at it this way. Anytime a hacker association, doesn't really matter, if they go after an oil company, any company at all that can just simply raise the prices, so utilities, oil, anything that is easily risen in price, the money comes from the people, not from the company. That's what drives me nuts. It's like, I get what they're doing. I understand what they're trying to do. Congratulations, you did it. But the people around that business are what's going to have to pay for it, not the business itself. They never will pay for it. That part drives me nuts.
Well, and it irritates me a little bit that we've allowed this to be part of a privatized part of our
Infrastructure.
necessary society. And if it's going to be privatized, then it needs to have some safeguards that can help prevent this. A backup plan to the backup plan, so to speak.
Yep. It's hey, you know what? We could get taken off right now because someone wasn't happy with that. That's how it works. It's digital. It's
Mhm.
computers.
And
Just wait.
you're going to hear this is when all the weirdos come out, the conspiracy theorists from all sides, the left, the right, and all over. So just I'm trying to stay neutral and pay attention to the facts.
Hey, I won't go left or right on this one. I just pay attention to the facts. Oh, let's see what John said real quick. It's about time, John. Gosh, we had to go off that deep end there on that one. It was a joke from a few years back. Duh, big red truck.
It must be an inside joke for only him.
I don't know him as well as you do, so it must be something you guys know.
I don't know. Big red truck. Beats
It'll
me.
come to you as soon as you remember who the lady was for Fine and her associate
Thanks for
contractor.
bringing that back in my mind. I'd forgotten about it.
That's what I'm here for.
I'll ask my boss tomorrow. He'll remember. Trust me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's if he's in tomorrow.
should be.
Oh, that must be nice. Okay, so let's talk about that. Does the work environment change whenever the boss isn't around? Yes. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and answer that. It does. People feel it's like the teacher's not in the room. Have you ever noticed that?
Well, see, I'm sitting at your old desk now, so it's like no, doesn't bother me one way or the other. I just
Yeah,
get stuck hearing all the other garbage.
exactly. It's like you're just sitting in the back of the classroom and the teacher leaves, and then all the people who like have this pent up energy, I guess, they just all of a sudden start showing out.
Yeah, I was filling out the form for that CTE the other day, and the boss comes around the corner and goes, "Oh, playing on the internet, huh? Yeah." I said, I'm not playing on the internet. I'm filling out a form. Yeah, that's what y'all see. I said, here it
Oh,
is.
yeah. Come take a look. You want to fill it out for me? That'd be great. Can I email it to you? And that was something, okay, there's something fun to learn just from that one thing alone when you're filling out a bio about yourself. Fill it out in third person.
I can't even fill it out right in first person. You want me to do it in two people later?
Yeah. Yeah. I want you to do it two people later that heard it from two other people. And then that way it's completely false and untrue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a resume. I'm trying to fluff it up, and I'm like, I can't fluff it up to these guys. These are going to know what I'm talking about when I show up here and start blabbing about stuff, and they're going to be like, "Excuse me, sir, that's not correct."
Well, you know what? And here's my comeback for that because I do it on purpose. I'm glad you read my bio. Let's talk about it.
Hmm?
Because how often do you, for me, I don't really read people's bios. I meet them as they are and then go from there. Maybe once in a while, if I'm curious about someone, what do they put for their bio?
Or like some of those people that like to comment on your videos on YouTube. You go to they bash you and it's just harass you about how horrible it is and on how of a horrible person you are. And you go look at their account and they have like no videos.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna bash me, but you have nothing for me to talk to you about on.
Nothing. Oh, put yourself out there. Just put it on the table, see what happens. It's the best advice I ever got. Oh, connection's unstable. FYI.
Mine
It'll
ears.
come back in a second. Mine. It'll come back in a second. So Totally forgot. Oh yeah. So teacher leaving the room, filling out the bio. So for anyone out there, if you are trying to write a bio about yourself or try to present yourself in some way, I was told a long time ago from the most unlikely source, which was a defensive coordinator for the high school football team who also happened to teach mass communications, write it in third person. Because that way, if they're wrong, you can blame them. I didn't tell you that part, but that's what he told me right after that. I thought, that's hilarious. Because no one
So I
knows
should
you.
start talking in third person.
No, because that's annoying. Gosh. Who do we
Chris
want?
says you should come to the podcast.
Yeah. Kyle, kick him out of your group. Wonder if you know what? That's a good way to control trolls on YouTube. Just talking third person about yourself as if you're signing it for you, but not you. That's a great idea in my head. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Thank you for joining us and catch us next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Don't rewind that slowly. Who knows what he just said?
You ever have one of those days that were just so bad you just let it all go and say, with it. I'm good. Cool.
Yeah, that's where I was right before we got on here tonight.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what have you done in the past week since our last podcast? We've got a couple minutes left.
Oh gosh. What did I do? Well, I finished a bunch of speaker parts for someone's dad. They're sitting over on the CNC all wrapped up, ready to be picked up.
That'll be a while.
Yeah. Saturday, I dug over 100 foot of ditches for some corrugated drain line. So I'm kind of tired from that.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that one. I have counted the amount of plants that I have planted for Mother's Day. It's taken a week now, a little bit every day, but I'm at 17. You did trench line. I would much rather dig a hole, put a plant in it than doing trench line. So, no, you win. It was a competition, and you win digging in the most dirt.
And those not from the South don't know about red clay. So I got nothing for you.
If you ever left Play-Doh out on the table for 2 days, imagine the ground is that. So funny story on mine is that half of the area that we were completely just redoing the whole thing, it was weeds that I had to weed eat every once in a while. So for me, this was great because we put down pebble and now I ain't got to worry about it. But half of it, the person before my wife, when she bought the house, decided to put a foot of gravel down. Yeah. So my entire, like, I would say maybe 7 of those holes were all in this gravel, and I had to dig down deep enough because they were roses. I eventually got to the red clay, and that's when I knew this was nothing but gravel. From here, from this line over, that was terrible.
Gravel's good.
No,
Allows the
not
soil to be aerated out.
Well, we're figuring this was 30 years ago because there's a lot of good soil in it now. A lot of the leaves that have, rotted and fallen down through. But a lot of it was packed pretty good. So when I got to the red clay, I was actually happy to see red clay for once. I was like, yes, I can work with this. So that was my adventure this week, or I guess last week to this week. Yeah. So Mother's Day present. Nice little place for her to enjoy in the evenings.
That's what matters.
That's what matters. So I think that's about it. So we're looking at October still for our extravaganza, whether it's virtual and in person, we'll have something. So if you know of somebody you would like to see on our extravaganza, please let us know. You can let us know here at the Whatnot Podcast, and we will convey it to the other people. That is Chris and Mike at Cling Sports Woodworking Shop. We'll let them know what to say.
Mm-hmm. And if you think of any comments or feedback that you'd like us to talk about, topics, we're here for it. I'm sorry if I sound drunk. It's this stupid thing echoing in my ear. It's driving me nuts.
Why is it echoing?
Couldn't tell you. It's a delay.
Oh.
Yeah, so I say it, and it just ended.
I wonder if it's coming from this.
Oh, don't show that one.
I mean, it is muted, but you never know.
Yeah, but no, it's just let us know. We'd love to hear some topics that
Mhm.
you'd like to hear us talk about. Yeah. If
So far,
not, we
I've
just keep
gotten
blabbing about our own thing.
no. So feedback wise, I've gotten good feedback as far as the tool one, the most repurchased tools that we have in our shop. I've actually got good feedback on that just due to the fact that it was something that, before you go buy. I'm
Mhm.
starting to see some YouTube videos out there. I don't know if YouTube's listening or not, but I can tell you that I've started seeing some that are people saying, don't waste your money on this. Well, I'm glad Scott's here to verify that you really are drunk.
Hey, he was here the other night. He knows I don't drink in the shop.
Yeah,
That's
it's
his chill
dangerous.
line.
That's a no-no.
But
Now, the finishing shop, on the other hand, that's a different story, right?
well, that's a natural high.
You know what? That's what it is. I just finished this shelf. I didn't take any pictures or do anything with it. But I did just spray a shelf with easy vinyl primer and then like clear coat right on top and then brought it immediately inside because it's kind of cold here today. It's what I think it's 45 and rainy, a little overcast. So I immediately brought it inside. I bet you anything that's why I'm feeling good
Could be.
because it's in the basement and that's where I'm at.
And you were scraping your nails, in that little video you did. So
That was so much fun though. So if just for giggles, I like to have fun with how we advertise things and also kind of plays around a little bit with how things work on these social platforms. So I've gotten a lot of good feedback and a lot of Andy Berkey feedback on our last one with the want to hear the most annoying sound in the world. By far, the greatest comment ever was just morons. Really, really big from Andy Berkey. And I thought, you know what? That is a complete compliment. I will take that.
that would be a cat we should have on here.
Oh, that's definite. Just have
Mm,
to let him know the date and the time. And we may have to change the schedule around his. I have zero issues with that. We will make it work for him.
yeah. Well, we should probably get more than like 5 followers before we start trying to invite people home.
That's perfect. He won't have to feel like he has to wear goggles or a hat. He can just be him.
I thought that was him.
It is him.
Yeah.
Actually, he has probably one of the coolest pair of goggles I've ever seen someone make for sure. But yes, he's going to be one that I will have on. If no one else enjoys this, I sure do if that matters. Scott, we thank you for taking your time on a Wednesday night. I heard Blue Bloods was canceled, so I see why you're free now.
And no, Scott, it doesn't matter.
So if we know you, that's going to be a trouble if you're commenting because I'll just have fun with you.
We'll troll you
Oh, I,
live.
I
We'll pull a Wendy's roast day.
oh, Chris knows that's probably one of my favorite things is Wendy's and Burger King and how they work their social media because they are brutal trolls. They are the best at trolling other companies by far. And if you've never seen the Day Without a Whopper, this is my favorite story. Chris is tired of hearing this, I'm sure. Burger King decided to have for 3 months the Day Without a Whopper campaign. And they didn't tell anyone the day was. They just kept saying it's going to be the Day Without a Whopper, Day Without a Whopper. It's coming, it's coming. So people were starting to think, hey, wait, they're going to run out of Whoppers or they're going to stop selling it. They're going to come out with something else. And by the way, the Whopper is the number one selling item at Burger King. That's their moneymaker. So when the day finally comes a week before, they let everyone know to go to McDonald's and buy a Big Mac because it helps the Ronald McDonald charity for that day. And they were not going to be selling a single Whopper to put all sales towards the Big Mac. And that hands down is the best trolling I have ever seen a company do to another company that's a competitor by far. It was unexpected. And at the same time, it had so much heart behind it and so much, we got you.
Classy and sassy all in one.
Classy and sassy. Yep. So we've had lots of talks on how we can do that professionally. And then, of course, we're just like, hey, we still have our own time. We can still do things. So the Whatnot podcast is going to start having a little bit of fun because there's a lot of people we know. So why not troll them? Because once they find out who we are, they're just like, oh, geez, those two. That's always a reaction I get whenever you and I are in the same vicinity and someone hears that there's something going on, they just instantly look at us and they're just, oh, you two. That's
Yeah.
how it is.
It's bad when your boss won't even let two of us in his office at the same time.
Nope. We are not allowed in our boss's office at the same time, even if we put 1 foot in, which is usually what we do just to have a joke. So if Chris is standing at the doorway talking to our boss and I'm walking by, I'll stop, turn around, put my foot in. He's instantly like, get out. So
Obviously, we don't listen to that.
no, not at all. It's been even more difficult with these virtual conferences that we have to have. Someone has to be muted at all times. Yeah.
Let's see, maybe in the next virtual meeting, we should both raise our hand at the same time.
Oh, that was a lot of fun, just raising the hand and putting it down, because he was just like, what are you doing? Nothing. I was just playing with this button. Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
What was really fun is that we used to sit at a table and we used to have this little microphone in the middle of the table for, it was like a round table. And what was a lot of fun, and we didn't realize this was annoying at first, is that we were tapping on the table or opening a cheer wine on the table. So therefore, all that noise that's transmitted through the table went through the microphone, and it really annoyed the other party. John is
We don't
so
care
by this. No. Yeah, look. See? Interesting.
Doesn't take much, does it, John?
In the famous words of Les Claypool from Primus, they all can't be singers.
Well, we'll let it all hang out one day and just throw some trolls back at the comments.
It'd be fun is if we did anything, if we just did the podcast, because I mean, doing it live at the same time that we do it, what's to say that we couldn't do it at a woodworking show behind the scenes? Who's going to stop us? There's nothing in the pamphlet as of yet because of all the 5 people who watch this, so we won't get busted yet. But there's nothing in the vendor agreement that says you're not allowed to go live setting up. I've read them. I saw the loopholes.
I have yet to hear the mandate that it couldn't happen either. So
perfect. So this should be.
We discussed regulations.
Yeah, you have to sign a contract too, just to let everyone know you're not going to do certain things. Yeah, we get that. But what about the things that you don't have in this contract? That's where Chris and I get in trouble, by far, easily.
We could have both been lawyers easy.
Yeah, except for we like to have more fun.
Yeah.
By the way, you're not allowed to ride the escalator on the arms down the AAW Symposium. That is not allowed. Especially being a 300-pound man. That's really not allowed, but it was a lot of fun.
They're just not supposed to get caught.
Oh, that's the... see, I knew there was a catch to this.
Jody something was her name. Sorry, I just kind of like...
Yeah, no joke.
You said, AAW and show, and all of a sudden it brought back the IWF. Anyway.
John says no, that's not correct. It's not Jody, sorry. He's not commenting on that. I'm just joking with you. But Jody, huh? Let's see. That was not one of the ones that Scott Houston had. Sorry, Scott. Nice try. You do not win the prize.
Jody Marks.
Jody Marks.
Yep.
Who's Jody Marks?
Jody with a Jodi.
Yeah, that's what I got here. Okay, so Jody Marks. Let's find out, because I don't even know who this is. I don't remember. Isn't that home time? The other home time lady? Oh well. I don't know who you're talking about now. Yeah, for all those playing at home, hold on a second.
Everybody's like, who?
Yeah. There we go. This lady right here. This one apparently. Let's see where it takes us. Oh, an even smaller picture. That didn't work out at all. But anyways, that's who Chris is talking about.
I'll be able to sleep tonight. That's awesome.
I'm so glad, because I wasn't worried at all.
Me either. I kept forgetting about it, and then all of a sudden, there it was.
Oh, look, there you go. Scott says that's how, Scott, that was clever. That's how he gets out of it. Twin's name must be Karen. Oh. So it's that time of
All right.
reckoning, time of thank you for joining us on this complete rambling nonsense.
Pick any of the 7,000 topics we discussed
Right?
and make that the winner.
So, this is a normal conversation we literally would have. It's that far out there. Goes from
If you need the
everything.
full outline, we'll have it printed below in the description. Not really.
Not really. I'd like to see the captions on this one. I'd like to see what the tags, when you get the tags that like kind of recommend for you, it's just gonna be like, yeah, we don't have any recommendations all over the place.
I hate for when you go to make chapters on this one.
Nope, no chapters. Oh man, gosh, yeah, that one would be brutal because there would be
I mean,
so many time marks. They
yeah.
changed the subject, they went back to this subject, they went off of this subject. Yeah, no, sounds
Well,
like
welcome
work.
to the life of our mind, then.
Yeah. So if you would like us not to do this type of episode again, leave a comment below to where we can
Or chime
actually,
in with your thoughts that you want
yeah,
to chime in with a comment.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
let
a
us know.
topic idea. I mean, really, the sky's the limit. We'll talk about it. We've probably seen it, done it. Not saying we're greatest. We're definitely not experts in these fields, but at the same time, maybe one of complete BS and just tomfoolery. We've got that nailed down pretty good.
Oh, that's a 50-cent word.
Tomfoolery?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sounds like some kind of a host of a game show. Hi, I'm Tom Foolery, and welcome to the show.
Would you like me to do that one for you?
Sure.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tom Foolery, and welcome to The Price is Chris. Just for you, yeah.
The Whatnotters.
The Whatnotters. Thank you for joining us, Whatnotters. I'm MikeZ.
Sounds like a bunch of guys up in Minnesota. We are the Whatnotters.
Dude, if we had someone from Minnesota say that, I would completely record that and then just use that as an intro song.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect idea. Everybody from across the country just say, I'm a Whatnotter. Boston, Massachusetts. Let's see, let's go for Wisconsin. Got to have someone from California because there is some accent there.
Hey, that's the
Alaska,
first T-shirt. I'm a
Whatnotter.
Whatnotter.
I'm a
Or
Whatnot.
Whatnotta.
Whatnotter. Hey, how would you spell that? Let's see. What?
End it with an A.
Oh, there we go. I posted it. Whatnotter. It looks like this.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, talking about all that stuff and Whatnotter. Yeah, great. Yeah, because if you're from Boston, there is no ER or R. It's an A, apparently, that ends all sentences that have an R.
We should call Joe up and have him say it for us.
Joe. That'll be for another show by far. Just Joe alone is another show. He's great.
Put that as a button. So just randomly throughout our sessions, you hit it. Whatnotta.
Nah, I'd have that button and I would have the he used to do the Al with Tool Time. He used to be like, I don't think so, Mike. That would be the answer I get all the time from him. Like, Joe, what do you think about this? This is a great idea. I don't think so, Mike. Yes, we should have Joe on the show. Anyways, all right. So thank you for everyone who stayed tuned and is still with us. We will be back here next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. I was gonna say 9 a.m.
Well,
that ain't right.
there's a special place in heaven for those who endured.
That's right. And we may actually start we may actually do one during the day just for giggles. Yeah, oh no, hear me out. When we go to do the filming and we go to do all the other stuff that's behind the scenes, that's when we can have some fun with it and just kind of just open the door. Here's what it takes to do all this stuff. Which is really
we control ourselves.
We could troll ourselves. It's really just Chris sitting there eating a bag of chips and having a cheer wine. And I had to record it one time because that was fun.
Were you watching?
Yeah, I was there next to you. I was to your left, but yeah.
Anyways. Oh
yeah. Oh wait. Let's see if I. Literally, this is what I heard on the microphone because he forgot the microphone was on.
I never leave it there.
Nope. Too bad.
Well, with that, I'm Chris.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm MikeZ, and for everyone who's made it to the end of this at 1 hour and 4 minutes,
We're the Whatnotters.
with a whatnotus. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great evening. Until next time and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. And whatnot.
Whatnota.